Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Oscar's English World. We continue our series Learning English Daily, and the word of the day is shrewd. What does shrewd mean? Let me tell you the meaning of the word by telling you two stories. The first one is a story that happened in the Gupta period, and it's a story about the invention of chess. During the Gupta period, there was a king who was extremely intelligent, and he got bored with all the games that involve luck and chance. So one day he called in all his sages and wise men and he said to them, I want you to come up with a game that takes luck and dice out of it, that only takes intellect. And one of the sages came up with a game that we now know as chess. And the king was extremely impressed, and he said to the sage, name your reward. And the sage said, well, my needs are few, but here's what I want. I want 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard, 2 grains of rice on the second square of the chessboard, 4 grains of rice on the third square, and 8 grains of rice on the fourth square, so on and so forth, just doubling the amounts of grains of rice. And the king thought to himself, well, that's easy enough. So he called in for a sack of rice and he started placing them in each square. While he was doing that, one of the other sages was working on the sum with a piece of paper. And then he whispered into the king's ear. He said, I'm afraid, Your Majesty, that he's just asked for more grains of rice than has ever existed in the history of the planet. For that is how much rice you get if you just double the amount on each square. So, we can describe that first sage as a very shrewd man. The other story that I'm going to tell you is one that comes from the Bible. And it comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, verses 1 to 15. And it's a parable that Jesus told. And it goes like this. There was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. So one day, the rich man called the manager in and said to him, what is this I hear about you? Give an account of your management, because you cannot be my manager any longer. So the manager started worrying, and he thought to himself, what should I do? I'm not strong enough to dig, and I'm not too ashamed to beg. I'm about to lose my job. But then he came up with an idea, and he said to himself, I know what I'll do so that when I lose my job, people will welcome me into their homes. So what he did was this. He called in all his master's debtors, and he said to them, he said to the first debtor, how much do you owe my master? And the first debtor said, 900 quantities of olive oil, 900 gallons of olive oil. And the manager said, okay, good, sit down, take your bill and make it 450 gallons. And then he called in the second debtor and he asked him, how much do you owe my manager? And the second debtor said, 1,000 bushels of wheat. And he said to him, okay, take your bill and let's make it 800. So finally, the manager commended the rich man commended the manager because he had acted shrewdly. Okay, folks, so I bet you understand what the meaning of shrewd is after listening to these two stories. So don't forget to click like and remember to subscribe. See you next time.